It's your girl Denise tuning in once again with another video, and today we are going to talk about carb cycling and how carb cycling actually helped me to lose weight. Stay tuned. Hey guys, so welcome back. We are going to talk about how I use carb cycling to help me lose the fat that I needed to lose. So on the video prior to, we actually talked about carb cycling and we hit on it just a little bit, and it was actually beneficial to me losing the 35 pounds that I actually lost during that journey. So today we're going to actually hit on why it helped me throughout that journey. So we all know that carbohydrates are one of the main sources for fuel that our body likes to use as far as energy go. So we have our carbs, we have our proteins, and we have our fats that the body actually will use, but it kind of prefers to use carbs, the carbs that we intake throughout the day. So when you think about a carb, you actually think about, you know, oh, carbs is just sugar, but carbs is actually your starches, which will be your breads, your rice, your potatoes, you know, even your sweet potatoes, your beans, your fruits and your vegetables. All of those items have carbs in it. So when you are thinking about doing the low carb to no carb diet along with carb cycling, you have to monitor all of those things along with your proteins and your fats. Let's talk about our bodies kind of like without carbs. So, you know, as far as carbs go, when I don't have the carbs that I want to eat, it is not it. It's not it. You know, I'm usually a little cranky by day 2. Day 1 kind of passed by and it's not as bad. But day 2 of not having carbs, my body's like, no, that's not it. So my body be wanting carbs around day 2. But anyway, I keep this going. And with the carb cycling method that I use in order to lose the 35 pounds, it was actually, I did 2 low days. And I followed that up with what we may call a moderate day. And then I would go into a high day, followed by 2 low days. So it would kind of cycle on and off of the process, kind of in that nature. So I kind of go over what I did as far as my exercise regimen and my feeding schedule. Now, on Sunday, which is my rest day, I would have low carbs. And that's because I wasn't really doing a lot of moving around, wasn't doing a lot of activity. It was, you know, just lounging around and doing, you know, housework around the house, getting prepared for the new week. So because that day did not require anything, I barely took in carbs. So on Sundays, I would have very low amount of those items that I listed: breads, rice, beans, fruits, certain vegetables, what have you. So I would limit those. On Monday, I would have low carbs as well. And that's because on Monday, I did upper body. And on Monday, it didn't really require me to do and use a lot of energy to actually do the upper body workouts that I did. And on Tuesday, I would have what we would call a moderate day of carbs. And that was basically because at the end of the day, on Tuesday, I would add carbs. And I'll tell you why I would do that. On Tuesday, I would do an ab workout, and I would regularly do my cardio like I do every day. But I would do my cardio and my abs on that day on Tuesday morning. Well, Tuesday evening, I would prepare my body for the workout that I was about to do on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I would do legs. And because I would do legs, I would always need like some type of carb, whether it was sweet potatoes, rice, or something like that. Baked potatoes, whatever it was, to prepare my body for the workout that I was going to be doing on Wednesday morning. On Wednesday, I would have my carbs on overload, what I call it. It would be a high carb day for me. So on that Wednesday, I would wake up, and before I do my workout, I would have a shake, and I would add oatmeal to my shake to make sure that I had enough energy from my food to sustain me throughout my leg workout. The goal was to have an efficient workout. I wanted to have a great workout. I wanted to really be able to get in there and do my legs with full effort. Like I'm going hard. If I'm doing legs, I'm going hard on that day. So I needed to be able to fuel those workouts, and carbs is the way to do it. Also, Wednesday throughout the day was my carb day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would have a carb. On Thursday, I would have a low carb day, but because I carved up on Wednesday, I had the energy to sustain my workouts on Thursday. So on Thursday, I call Thursday my push it day. Like that's the day I'm doing everything that I did not do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm pushing it to the max. And that means HIIT training. That means whatever. That means long hikes or whatever. I'm pushing it to the limit on Thursday because I got an overload of carbs in my system from Wednesday. So on Friday is my rest day. Yes, Friday is my rest day. So on Friday, I would have low carbs. I would just do the bare minimum of carbs. And on Saturday, what some would call more of a moderate carb day, I would do moderate carbs. So I would have a carb for dinner, or I may have a carb for lunch or something like that, which would include sweet potato rice, maybe even a small amount of beans, maybe a pear or something like that. But I would actually have more carbs on Saturday, but not carb overload like I would have on that day of Wednesday. So, and on Sunday, I start the cycle all over again. And that was pretty much my schedule throughout the program of me losing the 35 pounds. Now, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you as an individual. This is where you have to sit down and make a determination based off of you, your schedule, and your life on what it is that you need to be successful to lose the weight if you want to use carb cycling, because there are other methods. You could just do low calorie, you could do low carbs all the time, or you could do keto. It's other diets. So you really have to figure out what's going to work best for you and what's going to work best for your lifestyle and the things that you need for your body to be successful. For me, the plan was very successful because I planned and I journaled and I wrote everything down. You can do the same thing with carb cycling, and I'll tell you why. Unless you are a person that is always gone and you have this schedule that's crazy and it always requires for you to be out eating somewhere else, then this schedule may very well work for you. And I tell you why. Because you can adjust this to your personal lifestyle. Let's say, for example, on Saturday, it's family day for you, and you want to have carbs with your family and be able to enjoy your food, and you all are at the Mexican restaurant and you want black beans that day. Well, if you, the mom, planned out the schedule for the week and you know that you all are going to Mexican on Saturday, adjust your window. You want to make sure that you're doing at least 2 to 3 days of consecutive low carb days in order to fit in that carb day on Saturday. So your schedule will pretty much be on the same schedule that my schedule is on now. Now, if that switches and you have an engagement that's going to require you to, you're going to a wedding and it's on a Friday. So having the wedding is on a Friday. And so you need your carb day to be on a Friday. Adjust your schedule at the beginning of the week so that you can fit your carb day into the schedule. It comes down to you planning out your week properly. So you really want to do, and what worked for me, you could do a low, 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 high, or you could do a low, low, moderate, and then go back into your lows and go that way. Or you could do a low, 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 moderate, high, which is like, for me, it was awesome. A low, low, a moderate, and then going into a high, and then going back into the same thing kind of again. So that is how I pretty much planned out my week. You're totally different. Your schedule may be totally different from mine. You may have a leg day on a Monday. And if you have a leg day on Monday, then you know on Sunday night you need to have some type of carb. And in the morning before you do that workout, you need to have some type of carb. So you will adjust your schedule to that. Otherwise, if you're doing your own workouts and you're going to the gym on your own and you don't have a personal trainer or anything like that, then you know to make your schedule out to where your food can be evenly distributed among those days that you work out and spend time with your family. So journaling and making a plan at the beginning of the week is very beneficial. Now, we're going to talk briefly about how I kind of broke it down. And I'm going to actually link a picture of how I broke it down. So you really want to have about 20% of carbs on your low carb days. You want to have about 20%. You want to have about 30% of protein, and you want to have about 50% of fats. And on the days that you're having high, you just switch out your fats and your carbs. So it's pretty much the same. You just switch out your fats and your carbs. So that means on the day that you are eating carbs, you cannot have a lot of fat. You can't have an excessive amount of avocado oil and butter and all this different kind of stuff, cheese. You can't have all of the excess fat when you are doing your high carbs. So if you have the MyFitness app, which is very beneficial, you can actually adjust the amounts, and it will actually, when you are planning out your meals, it will actually show you what percentage of each one you're actually intaking throughout the day. So I do suggest, if you don't have an app, that you can actually put in at the beginning of the day exactly how many, the percentage of carbs you want to intake and protein and fats, and have it broken down. That is a great app to use. I'm sure there are others, but that is the one that I use, and that helped me along my journey to make sure that it was all evened out. Briefly, for the people that don't have food scales or anything like that, as far as, hey Denise, how much I'm supposed to have? Look, the inside of your palm is about the amount of protein that you're supposed to have, give or take a little bit, but we're just going to use this because you don't have a scale. So this is about how thick your meat should be. Like, look at the side of your palm right here. It's about how thick your protein should be. Okay? And then about this size for your vegetables. About this size for your vegetables. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to show you exactly how many carbs you're supposed to have, because we are doing very minimum carbs on those low carb days. So you are doing your green leafy vegetables, you are doing broccoli, you are doing cauliflower, you are doing things like that. You want to stick around the leafy vegetables when you are on the low carb diet. Like, stick around those vegetables. Spinach, all of those are excellent choices when you are actually doing low carbs. On your high carb days, like, y'all, I would have rice, and I would have sweet potatoes. I would do different types of fruit. I would really enjoy my high carb days, but you cannot have the high carbs and the fat. So you can't have the bread and the fat to go along with it. You have to minimize the fats on your carb day. So just because you can have the carbs, it doesn't mean you keep everything over in the other box and you just say, hey, I'm gonna add some more bread. You have to have less fat on that day. So on the day when you have carbs, when you don't have carbs, more fat. Days you have carbs, less fat. So remember that. Yep. Okay, so now that we have gone over carb cycling and what it is that I did throughout the carb cycling process to help you through your journey, let me know down below if you have any questions about carb cycling. Next week we're going to briefly show some different examples of some nice tasty foods that you can actually have and enjoy while you are on your carb cycling journey. Thanks again. This is your girl Denise. Thanks for tuning in.